Week 5 discussion. Record a video of yourself explaining the applications of each data type to business data and providing specific examples. For example, a data entry can store the data of the contract. The video should be between 2 and 5 minutes long. Introduction. This week's discussion is about data modeling. Object-oriented design, OOD, is de facto a standard in data modeling. Each object can have properties, which can be wizard objects, lists of objects, or primitive data types variables. Data types will include primitive, like numbers, text, date, time arrays, collections, like lists, arrays, tables, and objects. Now let's answer the question, what is a primitive data type? A primitive data type is either a data type that is built into a programming language, or one that could be characterized as a basic structure for building more sophisticated data types. Programmers will often be familiar with the primitive data types and used in coding, which do not involve more sophisticated data sets for effective representation. Integers are numbers that do not need complex identifiers such as exponents and decimal points. What are examples of those primitive data types? Examples of primitive data types include integers, floating points, numbers, and individual characters in text. Each of these primitive data types is an example of something that doesn't require a large amount of data for representation. Characters simply correspond to a single reference point. Now let's talk about what are collections as data types. Collections are list arrays, tables that are used to store a number of entries addressing each entry by the collection name and the numerical index of the entry within the collection. In general, students means the first students in the list. Now, what are examples of those collective data types? Data collection is a systematic approach to gathering and measuring information from a variety of sources to get a complete and accurate picture of an area of interest. Data collections enables a person or organization to answer relevant questions, evaluate outcomes, and make predictions about future probabilities and trends. Accurate data collection is essential to maintain the integrity of research, making informed business decisions, and ensuring quality assurance. For example, in retail sales, data might be a collective from mobile application, website visits, loyalty programs, and online surveys to learn more about customers. In a server consolidation project, data collection would include not just physical inventory of all servers, but also an exact description of what is installed on each server. The operating system, middleware, and application or database that the server supports. Lastly, let's talk about what are objectives as data types. Objectives can store multiple data entries of any type, including collections and even objects, which store under a file name. Then each entry is addressed by the object name and the field name. According to objectives data types, we want to answer the question, what are examples of objectives data types? For example, username of objects can also have methods, which are algorithms or computing modules that can work with the data of objects itself. For example, student.list of course braces open and close can be a module that will output the name from each course object associated with the student. In our last slide, we want to talk about what is the most important type of data used in business analytics. So, the most important data is the data that provides the greatest competitive advantage. Mining and refining data is not a cost-free process. Businesses should look for data that provides the highest return on their business analytics Here are my references. Thank you everyone for listening. Have a good weekend.